Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zones Crack in Time. We're here for Ghostbusters 2. Yes. Um, Obviously, this movie divides people, I have to say. Obviously, we're all in agreement that the first one is brilliant. But the second one did cause, I even remember at the time because I was old enough that there were, conversations and debates had about whether this was a good addition to the franchise or not. And here's the thing: that talk still continues to this day. Um, it's a weird one, I have to say. It's a weird one. I have a soft spot for this movie. It's not as good. I think it's just a kind of a poor imitation of the first, a kind of rinse and repeat sort of deal. But it does have its moments. That's the thing. It does have its own unique moments in it, and there are a few scenes in it which are hilarious. But yeah, um, I'm looking forward to watching this. So let's bring on our guest. I have sent out email to our other guest, but as I said, been kind of winging these streams lately. Um, we'll see who turns up. But we've got real super doctor with me at the moment.
Hey,
How are you?
it's the problem with the Ghostbusters franchise. The first film that they had established Gozer, and in the second film they established Vigo. And it's like in Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's basically the same thing with Gozer returning for our second coming. But at least we get to see a wee bit more in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Gozer and how she managed to come back.
Mm, yeah. I did like Afterlife, as you know yourself.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'll be looking forward to doing Afterlife because there's a few cut scenes as well right at the end that
yeah,
are funny as well. And I hope they do make a sequel. It mightn't be with the young crew. We don't know how if there is even plans, but I think they'd be absolutely stupid now, Sony, if they didn't capitalize on this. Forget about what the media and the media critics out there are saying. They've got it wrong. I mean, you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it's quite Rotten Tomatoes lost an awful lot of credibility over the years, especially these last 5 years. But there's one thing you will notice when you go in, right? The critic reviews, right? You'll always see their score, and their score is always low, right? Now, how you
yeah,
know a movie is good or bad? Go and look at the audience review, right? The audience and the critics are so far apart nowadays. It's unbelievable. A lot of critics came out and criticized Afterlife, gave it an awful time, right? It was like as if they were trying to sabotage it when people were going to watch the movie. And unfortunately, on Twitter, you've seen that it did work on a few people until fans like us start talking about it and start saying how great it was. And then the more that these people, the naysayers, right, that were supporting the media, were hearing more about it, they went and watched the movie themselves and they changed their opinion. Afterlife is a great addition. I think it's better than Ghostbusters 2 anyway. So that's just my
yeah,
personal opinion.
yeah,
But I think it is better than Ghostbusters 2. And I think it's a worthy entry into it. But Sony, as I said, they have an opportunity here. They can go both ways because they've left it open. You will understand when we watch Afterlife, you will understand what I'm talking about. But there's a possibility of bringing the kids back, right? Or there's a possibility of bringing some of the OG Ghostbusters back. It's quite interesting, and the way they left it as well. There's bound to be another part. There has to be because they're not going to leave it like that. You will know
yeah,
what I'm saying when you watch the last cutscene, especially. There's no way they're going to leave it and that's it. But Sony would be if they decided that they're not, because they listen to the media critics, and that's why I say it's important. Rotten Tomatoes has lost credibility, but if you go to the audience score is a perfect representation of how good or bad a show is doing. Just ignore the media critics, right? Because media critics were giving some movies a fresh 90 and all of this, and then we'd watch them and it turned out to be absolute rubbish, right? And then you see the fan score gave a true reflection, the audience score. So always look out if you are looking on Rotten Tomatoes, even though it has kind of lost credibility with the critics side of it. Now, the naysayers will say, well, it's lost credibility because of the audience scores, because the audience scores don't truly reflect how good or bad. I disagree. I think the audience score is more accurate than the media, because these media critics, they have it in for fans. And, and that they think that might be liked by fans like us that they claim are toxic, they'll downgrade a story deliberately. We've seen it before. I mean, we've had people try to say that the 2016 version of Ghostbusters is a better, pays better homage to the first two movies than Afterlife does. Right? Now, these are the same critics that were saying that Afterlife was pandering too much to fans. So they're contradicting themselves. They don't know what they want to say about. See, what the problem is? The movie was good and it sickened them because they didn't think it was going to be good. You see, right? And a lot of them supported 2016 back in the day, and those journalists weren't happy that this movie was good, and so they start coming out with their stupid little articles saying, and one of them even was so stupid that came out and said the sexist fans that didn't like the 2016 version. Well, if we're so sexist, right? We're so sexist, right? And we hate women. Well, then how come everybody loved Ghostbusters Afterlife and the lead in that as a young girl?
Yeah.
See, it was nothing got to do with the sex of the Ghostbusters. See, again, these media and these fans that support the 2016, you don't get it, right? It was the rhetoric that these actresses were coming out with, right? It was stuff that we were saying that was being inserted into the movie that we didn't like. You could have had an all female, but at the same time, fans at the time were saying, "Look, you're doing an all female. Why don't you do a 50-50 even?" Right? We were willing as fans to compromise, but you weren't willing to compromise one bit. It was an all female Ghostbusters cast, or it was nothing basically. And then what did you do then? He's got poor, what's his name, Chris Hemsworth, right? Who plays Thor, right? Or male, strong character. And what did they do? They deliberately brought him into Ghostbusters and made him an effing idiot, right? And that was done deliberately. It was done deliberately. This is what I'm saying. It was the same thing with Doctor Who. This is why we have a problem. Everything that you did wasn't done out of the betterment of the franchise. It was done out of spite, the spite fans that weren't on board with this. But Afterlife proved you all wrong anyway, because we loved it. We loved it. And you know what? They got the balance of the team proper as well, if you look at it. Right? You've got the two young lads, and you've got two girls, right? And then the OG Ghostbusters. Obviously, if you haven't seen it now, spoiler alert. So close your ears if you still haven't seen it. In 3, 2, 1, the OG Ghostbusters return for a cameo, and it's fucking deadly, like.
Yeah.
So they got it. They got it right. They got it spot on with this movie, and I'm sick of people criticizing it. And I'll defend it. And I'm not just defending it because I want to stick one to the 2016 version, right? This movie is genuinely heartfelt, right? It does have a different tone to the first two. Of course it does. It has to move on. I hate people when they say, "Oh, it's completely different tone." Yeah, well, it's supposed to move on. This is how these franchises survive. It's like when Doctor Who came back in 2005. It was completely different to the classic version, but it still maintained certain elements. Same with this movie. It maintains certain elements, but it's fresh. And it gives us a bit of fan service, which is great. And I love that. Anyway, we've got the legend of the traveling TARDIS, Chris Persia, and we got Dave in the chat as well. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Nice to see you all here. Nice to see you. Right, we're doing Ghostbusters 2. So I'm going to go into my site now and get it up. It only takes 2 seconds. Actually, it'd be great if I did it this way. I've got my
I'm watching
4K
it from
ready
here.
to go. Oh my god, the show off. What are you watching it on? You're watching it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm just going in now. It only takes a couple of seconds in this, which is great. But yeah, I do like the music in this movie, though. I will say.
Yeah, I like it myself as well.
Yeah.
I do like the version of the theme tune. Even 30 odd years later, still love it. Still love listening to it.
Yeah, and controversial. I do like Bobby Brown's song, even though we all know he's a bit of a scumbag.
Yeah.
But you separate the artist from the scumbag. But yeah, I do like.
I just could not believe how much they put into this second film to try and make it a success. I mean, they really done their best with this. But
listen, the advertising as well, man. It was everywhere. It was in Burger King. It was in McDonald's. It was everywhere. This movie, I agree with you. This movie was pumped up to bits. We even had little, stationary places where you go and buy your pens and all. They had Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. What were they called that you used to store your pens in?
It was. I think it was the
pencil cases.
Pencil cases. Yeah.
Pencil cases. Jesus Christ, just got to show you how old I am now. I can't even
remember. And I remember
pencil cases.
They had, can you remember the Juice 5 Alive?
Yeah.
They had wee hologram stickers in every packet of them.
Yeah.
And I collected all of them in every packet of them.
Yeah, even Kellogg's did something, I remember. You bought a box of cornflakes, and at the end of the box, there was a Ghostbusters reflector, or Ghostbusters 2 reflector. You had your Ghostbusters milkshakes as well. Ghostbusters 2 milkshakes. Then the McDonald's Happy Meals were deadly because every week you got this different thing, but the first week you got this hologram light thing, so it was switched on, right? And you shine it towards the wall, and Slimer would appear on the wall and stuff.
Yeah,
it was great.
That.
Yeah, it was great, man.
And also, I can actually remember that I think it was Shreddies that was doing Ghostbusters 2 transfers. Like you could put them onto a t-shirt and you could iron over the top of them, and the print would come off. But the print would just usually stick to the kind of paper and that, and it wouldn't be kind of successful. But they had a lot of things, a lot of merchandise back then. They had the Ladybird books. The Ladybird books had released the novels in the movie as well, and I can remember buying them.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was a good time. It was a good time. I remember it was like promoted all over the place, man. Heavily promoted everywhere you went. There was a Ghostbusters 2 poster. And I remember because when the movie came out, I was old enough to remember. So I remember the hype. The hype was real. But unfortunately, at the time, as a kid, I thought the movie was great. Obviously, I did. I was a kid. You don't know. You don't know the difference. It's obviously when you get older and you look back on days, then you kind of have your favorite. But I still enjoyed it. Listen, look, as I said, I'll always have a soft spot for this movie. So, I won't overly criticize. I've never overly criticized it, but there are some. I mean, the Statue of Liberty stuff for me is a bit ridiculous, but I know they tried to kind of repeat the Stay Put Marshmallow Man, but kind of thought, a bit cheesy, but. Look, we'll watch it again anyway. Titanic makes an appearance as well, as you know, guys.
Yeah.
And as you know, me and John are fanatical about the Titanic. So that's a good part. You know.
Yeah, it was a nice touch to it.
Yeah.
It really was because the Titanic was still a big thing back then in the 80s after the discovery.
Yeah, I think this movie came out. I think it was either a year before or a year after Titanic was either found or not found.
Yeah,
So there was
Titanic.
still this fascination with Titanic. I
Yeah,
mean, you had the
yeah,
movie Raise the Titanic during the 80s as well.
yeah,
That was made a few years before Titanic was found as well. So yeah, there was always a huge fascination with Titanic. But here, we'll get
yeah.
into it because I could see everybody is basically hinting because they've got the wands in. Are you ready, Noel? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Bear with me for a second. All right. Here we go. Here we go. And while this plays, I'll just grab the earphones. I've got it on mute now, so we'll be able to. So let me see. I don't think anybody else is gonna turn up. I know everybody's kind of had a bit of a weird week this week, bit of a shitty one.
Yeah,
Now I said
yeah.
that last night. It's not, and that's been happening on Twitter. I want to make that clear. It's just my stomach hasn't been great. So because I've been getting a bit of stick on Twitter, so I don't want anybody thinking that's the stuff on Twitter. I don't care what they say about me on Twitter anymore. There's even someone that tried to drag me into a conversation about Mr. TARDIS again, and then Mr. TARDIS got involved, and I just blocked the person that started it all up because look, I'm not interested. You're gonna repeat the same crap that you've been repeating for 5 years. I don't want to hear you. It's as simple as that. So for anybody out there that thinks that all this stuff is affecting me mental health and stuff, no. I've been sick. Cheryl just got our second jab as well. So, as anybody that's got the jab, you know what you are like after the jab. It kind of takes a lot out of you. And I've been keeping my eye on Cheryl as well. So it's been nothing that's been happening online. It's been personal stuff, basically. And everybody's had a bit of a shitty week as well. There's anniversaries as well. Melina, as you know, our mum, she put up a post. Our mum's anniversary was a while back as well, a few days ago.
Ah,
So she was feeling under the weather, and of course, as we know, Lee has been a little bit under the weather as well and stuff. So that's why I didn't do the watch along last night. I just said, look, we give everybody a bit of an extra day off, man, because it's been a bit of a crappy week for us all. I'm getting there though, so but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But it's nothing that's been going on Twitter or YouTube or anything. So I want to make that clear. Because you have to these days, because these people think they're getting the better of me and all of this. They've tried for 5 years. I'm still here, but none of that stuff bothers me anymore. It really doesn't. Got better things to be worrying about. There's more shit going on. There's real world stuff going on right now that's more important than crap on social media. You know what I mean? And if I had this attitude from day one, I probably would have been all right, but I didn't. I
yeah,
fought back all the time, but I'm not fighting back anymore because it's the same stuff being repeated over and over again, and there's no basis to their accusations. No matter what they do, they can take clips out of context. They can take stuff that I said in the past, right? We all change our opinions over the years, anyway, which I have done. When you learn more about stuff, you change your opinions. That's what happens. Nowadays in society, before we start this watch along, you're not allowed that human growth. You're not allowed that personal growth anymore. Basically, you have to get things right straight away from the moment you're born now, right? Because everybody is offended by something now. So that's the way it's gone now. There's no room for personal growth. You're either the way these people want you to be, or you're this, that, and the other. And that's it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know how we got to this point in society, but there you go. Right, we leave it there. I'm gonna get Real Super Doctor to actually do the honors tonight. So, Real Super Doctor, without everybody is ready in the chat.
is
Sorry, I'll just
everybody
check
ready?
again. Is everybody ready in the chat? If you are, you know what to do. You press 111
118.
118. Do you remember that ad? Yeah,
I
we
remember
had
that.
an ad that was similar, but your number was 118. We had a different
Yeah.
number, but the ads were fucking annoying.
Yeah, it was. They were repetitive. They kept going on and on and on.
111. We got 111 from Chris. We got one from Dave, and he goes one. I mean one. I mean one. One. Yeah, I woke up in a bit of a bad mood.
Yeah, it's kind of
Does
one
that
of
ever
these
happen?
days.
Does that ever happen? You just wake up and you don't know
Yeah,
what it is, but you wake up and for the first couple of minutes you're just a rat bag for no reason.
yeah, yep. I can feel like that myself.
Right, anyway, you should have seen me try to sleep this morning. Poor Cheryl. I was twisting and turning, and you know what? I came to bed early enough, right? And we watched a video or two together, and then I said, I'm going to go to sleep. And literally from 8 o'clock in the morning to one
Yeah,
o'clock this afternoon, I didn't get any sleep. I was twisting and turning, twisting and
yeah,
turning. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's everything that's just going on. It's just, I'm a bloke.
yeah,
We try to act all macho and shit, right? But all this shit that happens around the world and personal stuff, it gets to you, after a while.
yeah. It
I
does a
wake
bit.
up feeling worse than I did when I went to sleep. Exactly, Chris. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. It's just weird. But anyway, look, enough of
See,
me
I think
talking.
it's the changing weather as well because
Yeah,
a few weeks ago it was freezing and then it started raining. Then the temperature's back up again, and then it's
yeah, and
supposed to
now
go
it's
back
going to
down
go
again.
down again. Yeah, we had
Yeah,
two storm warnings now.
yeah,
Right, and then it's supposed to get, yeah, this weather is not helping either, I have to say. But look, we've had years like this before. I remember
yeah,
growing up as a kid having, spring would come in late. It happens, but I wish now it'd start getting warmer now because it's getting ridiculous. But here, let's
yep,
do it anyway. Let's just get the movie on and we can keep talking while we're watching the movie because we're 25 minutes in now and everybody's
right.
been waiting. So John, you do the
Ready?
countdown. Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. I forgot I should have done that. Right, I'll probably be a couple of seconds behind. Is this even going to
Right.
play? Oh my God. I don't even think this is going to play.
Just go over to that site.
I'm on it.
Are you on it?
I'm on it. I'm actually on it. Why isn't it working? Now just keep going. Just keep going because I'll get a
Yeah,
timestamp off you. There's no problem there. So no panic. Just keep going, everybody.
yeah.
Because I
I
know it
like how they
starts
done
off
that.
first, yeah, and then
Yeah,
it goes
I
into
like
the
how they done
music.
that.
So
They get the slime. They get the slime to come out the crack of the ground.
right, I'll try it again. So you
Actually, I
have
think
to
this is quite a
what?
good opening
No, that's
for
what
the
I'm
film.
saying. The opening is great, and then it goes into the
Yeah,
titles. But I do
yeah,
agree with you. It's a good start. Look at
yeah,
as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. I loved the movie.
yeah,
I loved the movie. It's obviously when you. I think it's the same for most households. You have certain
yeah,
movies that you grow up with, right? And that your mum and dad will watch
yeah,
all the time. They'll repeat them over the years. And the Ghostbusters franchise, Craic Kid franchise, Star Wars franchise, the Star Trek franchises. These were franchises that my dad would watch over and over again. I became a James Bond fan because of me dad. I
yeah. I
mean,
like James Bond
every
myself.
every year on RTE, which is their
Yeah,
national TV station, they they call it the James Bond season, and
yeah,
they start off in the autumn, and they start off with Doctor No, right?
yeah.
And I'd sit down and I'd watch James Bond the whole every week. There was a movie, mate, all the way up to Daniel Craig. Right, you give us a timestamp there, pal.
2 minutes in, 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
2 minutes and 4 seconds. So I'll
It's
go
the pram's
to
gone down the road.
right there. We go. I have it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And Sigourney Weaver, again,
Yeah.
back in another Ghostbusters movie. I
You've
do like
watched.
how loyal she has
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
to franchises, even the
Yeah.
Alien franchise when she kind of knew she shouldn't have come
Yeah.
back. Like she regrets Resurrection, right? But
Yeah.
you know, she was loyal to those franchises. She was loyal because those franchises made her a big
Yeah.
name, you know. And I like that. I like that. So it's a great look. I just love the car. Ooh.
I love that car.
Oh, this is where they go to the party. Who are you
Yes,
gonna
this is where
call?
they go to the
He
party,
man,
and
he man, he
it's
man.
actually Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son, that's in the party, and he calls the Ghostbusters a load of crap.
It's look, it was great the way they did it though to show how
Yeah,
much time has elapsed, but they're not as popular as they were the first time round. Then we find out that they basically got sued by the city for the
yeah,
damage, like even though they saved the whole world.
yeah. But it also shows the impact in the Ghostbusters business. They haven't any ghost to bust. I mean, after clearing up the town from that, and
True. The painting of ego creeps you out. Yeah, yeah. Look. I mean, he's based off a real life character, and the real life character was a nasty piece of work.
yeah,
Um, I think the actor that they got, is great, but that painting is, as a kid, seriously, that painting did, and you always felt that the painting, no matter where the camera went, even I
yeah,
think Bill Murray's character says it, like, does it feel like that painting is watching you? And that's what it does.
yeah.
Some paintings are like that. No matter what angle you look at them, or you're moving left to right, it
It's like
always
the eyes
seems
follow
like,
you across
yeah,
the
that
room.
it's following you across the
Yeah,
room. And
yeah,
that's what I liked about it. But it's just certain things in this movie. He had to try go bigger and better. And I
yeah,
understand that. But sometimes I wish that directors wouldn't think that way and studios
yeah,
wouldn't think that way, right? What you do is you make a second movie that's worthy to be the second movie. Yeah, if you want to make it a little extra bit flashy, that's fine. But remember, the reason why your first movie is a success is because the way it was written, directed, and the way the jokes lay and everything that you
yeah.
did. In the second one, I always find if you try go bigger, right, the story gets lost. The story gets lost, and it doesn't. The jokes don't quite hit as they did in the first one.
So
But
I
there
think they're
are
trying
some
to be
moments
too
in it.
ambitious with this one.
Yeah, yeah, that was the problem. And I could
Yeah,
understand, Americans were proud back then and stuff. So I can understand it, and especially New Yorkers. So I can understand the thing with the Statue of Liberty. It just, I
yeah.
wouldn't have used the Statue of Liberty, you know?
So this is interesting. Dana goes to see Egon, and Egon's doing something else, and he's experimenting, and he's experimenting in the people that's in the room, and seeing their behaviors, and see how the environment around them reacts to their behaviors.
I agree. I agree. He raises the temperature up, and as
Yeah,
you raise the
yeah,
temperature up, then you can get more agitated because a lot
yeah,
warmer as well.
yeah.
Um, it's Yeah, I love it. And I mean, it does give more character development to the characters, like.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to introduce the characters after being off and been away for 5 years, and how the Ghostbusters business had kind of bit departed after that.
Yeah, take the puppy. I'd be devastated myself. There's your research, Egot. Give me back the puppy. So, how did your interview go? The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Unfortunately, I was actually streaming at the same time. But I did pop in before you started to wish you luck. So, you interviewed. I don't know if I'm actually saying her name right, but I'll give it a pop. Sophia, I think it is. The Madame the Pop.
Sophia Miles.
Oh, is it Sophia? Is it?
Yeah,
Okay. See, we all seem to get our name wrong.
yeah,
And the only reason why I know that is because someone actually wrote to her on Twitter and said, "I'm sorry, I got your name wrong. Been getting your name wrong for years." And she actually said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Everybody gets my name wrong." So yeah, obviously I got her name wrong, but there you go. Yeah. So they interviewed Madame de Pompadour. Yeah, and it looked fun. Looked fun, I have to say. But as I
yeah.
said, I was streaming myself, and then I ended up going streaming for about 3 hours or something. We were talking about the RTD era. Oh, but these weirdos, yet. So the world's gonna come to the end.
Yeah,
He has a
they're
book
supposed to
coming
be the
out.
kind of psychics.
Yeah.
Well, it is pretty close. Valentine's Day. Bummer. Where do you get your dataline?
Seriously, man, these people.
Yeah,
Like, no disrespect to anybody that goes to see psychics and
yeah,
all that sort of stuff. It's not my cup of tea, and
no,
but I do see some cases around the world where families will rely on these people because they might have a loved one missing and
yeah,
stuff, and that boils me blood. That boils me blood. It's like all those paranormal people that have ended up being, outed as frauds. I don't like that stuff. You don't play on people's emotions like that. What these
yeah,
people are very good at doing, and people should realize, is that they're actually very good body language experts. So when they're asking questions and probing you, they're looking at your body language and they're able to deduce from your body language and try give you information that sounds like it's believable because they're good at what they do. But look, if that look, I know a lot of people use them, especially some members of my family. Loved ones have passed away, and it helps them. Um, Maybe with their grief or whatever, or they need faith. This is like the religion, I suppose. But there you go. It's not my cup of tea. I just don't agree with it.
ah, there's the mayor. You can tell the he's dyed his hair for this.
Yeah, I don't think in this story as well. Look out, because we did we
Yeah,
did we did find out that in his contract,
yeah,
it was in his contract that he doesn't get slimed. So let's
yeah.
see, because I know the other lads do. But does Bill Murray actually get slimed in this movie? I don't think he
I
does.
don't. I don't think so because it's Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson that goes down to the sewers.
That's right, and they get slimed. And I know
They
they
get
go to the
slimed.
restaurant and they're
Yeah,
splashing their hands about, but I don't know if he actually gets slimed by them when they're like that. It'll be
yeah,
interesting to see, because I do know that it was part of his contract that he wasn't in favor of being slimed. And who does like being slimed, in all fairness? It
yeah.
doesn't, you know. I wouldn't like to be slimed. It looks horrible and stuff. So I can understand where he was coming from.
Oh, they did things like that in the 80s television shows, like throwing buckets of slime over people and
Yeah.
everything like that, and Noel's house party and all that. Remember Noel's house party?
I used to love that though when if there was a chance, because sometimes they like whatever
Yeah,
the game was, I think they asked questions or something, and if they answered them right or something, they wouldn't get slimed.
yeah,
But Noel would just press the button out of spite and slime them anyway. Um, but yeah, that I used to love watching Noel's house party, especially when the sliming happened. Because it was always fun, because you could
yeah,
tell by some of the celebrities' reactions when they won and he slimed them anyway. You could tell that they were pissed off,
yeah.
but they knew they were on a family show and couldn't say anything, so they just went along with it.
It's like even in the Generation game, they would do the same thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
there,
love the
there was
generation game.
there was this Doctor Who fan on the Generation game. I think this was 1995, and they had they had the TARDIS prop on the set, and the Doctor Who fan opened the TARDIS door, and the guy with a custard pie just threw it right in his face.
Yeah, yeah. I love the generation game as well. Man, they're the shows they need to be bringing back.
Yeah,
You know,
I would
I
agree
mean,
with you.
Jesus Christ, Noel Edmonds could still do Noel's house party, but that was his
Yeah,
thing, so that would be up to him whether he was to bring it back. But they could have brought something similar. I know they have
yeah,
the Ant and Dex Saturday night takeaway, which is
yeah,
good, right? And it does kind of pay homage to the older shows, but it's not as good. No matter, like, I love Ant and Deck, right? I know some people think they're annoying, but I actually do. I grew up with them in Biker Grove and all when they were in Biker Grove.
yeah.
I
I can
watched that
remember
show,
that.
so I grew up with those lads, even when they had their singing career. I grew up with those lads. So to see them where they are now, like, I've basically grown up with them and I still watch them to this day. And Cheryl
Yeah,
now loves them because she watches. That's why I watch I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, because of those two. If
yeah,
that wasn't
yeah,
hosted by those two lads, I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't watch that show because I'm not really into. I used to be into reality TV shows. When Big Brother first came out, the first 3 seasons of Big Brother, in my opinion, right, the UK
yeah,
one, are the best because it was still a social experiment.
yeah,
They were still learning, but by season 4 and 5, they had the formula down. But then what they were doing was, instead of doing the open audition process that they used to do, they still did open auditions, but they always did pick certain people, but they went the extreme with it.
yeah,
They'd get people that they knew would be confrontational, right?
mhm,
They always got people that they thought be controversial or whatever, and they'd stick them in and hope for the best. And in the first few weeks, nothing would really happen, but straight away it'd be kicking off because they did deliberately, right? And they do background checks on these people as well. They knew some of the housemates that they were putting in were a bit unhinged. But then but the way they start thinking to make great television, and as soon as it went about making just great television instead of a social experiment, the show was ruined. The show was ruined. Davina, that's why she ended up leaving anyway. You know, it wasn't the same show that she hosted. You know, um, but I'm a Celebrity is the only one now that I watch, and it's because of Ant and
yeah,
Deck because I've grew up with
yeah,
them, and they're still funny, even though their jokes are stupid. And we all know their jokes are stupid, and they know their
yeah,
jokes are stupid, but they don't take themselves seriously, and that's why I like them. And I've grew up with them all my life, And they win the national TV award nearly every year as well. And I think it's deserved because they don't just do Saturday Night Takeaway. They do I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out Here, and then whenever there's any other big major thing, they get the lads to do it. They also used to do Britain's Got Talent as well. So, you know, I love the lads. And I know Ant had his bit of troubles and stuff, and that was sad to see. But I think
Yeah.
that's the first time that one of those two lads have cracked and something's happened. I mean, your man's marriage did fall apart. No excuse to get into a car and drive when you're drunk and stuff like that. But I hope he's learned from it now and they can move on because everybody was devastated. Everybody was thinking that the two of them would never work with each other again because Deck apparently was really angry at Ant, because they had this good thing going, for decades. So yeah, they came out the other side now, and it's good to see. It's good to see. But there's certain celebrities we grew up with. I mean, when Noel Edmonds appeared on I'm a Celebrity as well, even though he came in a blaze of glory and ended up getting voted out pretty shortly after. It was great to see him back again. Because again, when he brought out Deal or No Deal, I watched Deal or No Deal because of Noel Edmonds. We grew up, we're attached to certain presenters and stuff. And listen, we know Noel Edmonds behind the scenes is a bit of a dick, right? He always has been. But that's why he's been so successful, right? You see, the difference is he has a personal persona and then he has his TV persona. And everybody loved his TV persona. Now, when we did see him in I'm a Celebrity, right, and we saw his personal persona, it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. He still came across as a warm guy, but he just didn't take crap. And I suppose that's the way you need to be, don't you? You don't take crap. So fair play to him. He's 70 odd years of age. He still looks like fucking a 40-year-old man. The guy probably sleeps in a fucking... What was that they used to accuse Michael Jackson of? Sleeping in a chamber to keep himself young. Noel Edmonds probably has one in his gaff. Sleeps in an
he
oxygen
probably has.
tank.
He's into all the kind of electromagnetic healing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he got into trouble over that because some people were giving out because people are offended. Look, it was his opinion, right? He didn't actually say that everybody should do this or he tried to force people. It was his opinion. I hate when people have an opinion nowadays and it's not taken as an opinion anymore.
Yeah.
And people just get offended. Man, well, leave it out. Do you remember the Russ Abbott show, John?
I remember that as well.
And Jeremy Beadle.
Jeremy Beadle, that was great.
You had
stuff.
Beatles about, and then you had Candid Camera. That was deadly.
And You've Been Framed.
And You've Been Framed. What else had you got?
I didn't think the You've Been Framed was awful funny when it was like they just wanted to do was show babies falling over and all that, and I just get fed up with it.
I think when Harry Hill took over, don't get me wrong, the first season of his wasn't too bad. It was funny, but what the reason why I liked You Be Framed because it was because of Jeremy Beadle. He was funny.
Yeah.
He was funny, and it wasn't just, and you're right, it wasn't just babies falling over.
Yeah.
It was all different types of video. Look, some of the videos that he showed you probably wouldn't get away with today. He'd show people being kicked in the nuts and stuff like that. It was really good stuff, stuff that we could really that. But my favorite is when he went out into the streets and he'd get someone's car and he'd replace it with an identical car, and the poor fucker would be coming back to get into his car and see a big bleeding ball and chain fall on top of his car, and he'd be devastated. And then he'd pop out and say, "That's all a trick," and then there's your car. And then I used to love that show.
Did you see that one with the alien?
Yeah,
it was the asteroid that crashed into our backyard and that.
That was it.
And they all set her up they all set her up, and they asked her to sing to the alien and all that and everything like that, and she was she was actually believing it all and everything like that, and I
Oh,
couldn't believe how they managed to just really take the piss out of her.
I know, it was great. Then you had Stars in Your Eyes. That was
Yeah,
a big Saturday night show that we used to all watch, and some of the performances on that were brilliant.
yeah,
Then you had Play Your Cards Right.
yep. That was
Jesus
another good
Christ,
one.
man. Oh, I'd say, guys, especially you guys in America, right, and beyond. You should have seen the TV that me, Real Super Doctor Lee, and everybody from the UK and Ireland grew up with.
It was the beautiful woman they had to play your cards right every kind of, I think it was every Saturday night, and
Yeah, and
you
I used to think that our Uncle Brucey used to get
yeah,
it on with these women, right? But no
yeah,
such thing. He was very loyal to his missus and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
man, that like the girls in it, like they do, when they do the prizes, when you're doing their
Oh,
prizes and stuff, they be
I
doing their
remember that.
stupid little videos reenacting the prize. Oh
Yeah,
man! And then you had Family Fortunes with Les Dennis.
and The Price is Right with Leslie Crowther.
Yeah, and you
That
had
that
Blankety
the
Blank.
all these things were on in the kind of mid 80s, early kind of mid to early 80s, and that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the television, it would be like every Saturday night, everybody, I would know, all the families would be sitting around the television to watch.
I agree. I think the eighties and
Yeah,
early nineties for BBC and ITV were the
yeah,
golden age for
yeah,
them. Because they were always competing with each other, and also they did themselves favors as well because they would they fit their shows around each other as well.
yeah.
Bullseye in there as well. Gladiator
Well, that
was
was a
another
good
one
one.
as well. I absolutely loved Gladiator. By the way,
Yeah,
I think Gladiator is on that site that me and you have. I'm thinking of going back and watching it from season one again because I used to
yeah.
love that. Gladiators ready.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing on television anymore. I mean,
No, no
it's
imagination.
just not worth
Do you
it
know what it
anymore. It's
is?
just
There's no imagination with TV
no,
now.
no
There is stuff
creativity.
on, right? But it's creatively bankrupt.
Yeah,
It's you look at what we grew up with. I mean, even Benny Hill, right?
yeah.
He might be
Benny Hill was
controversial
really good.
nowadays, but he might be controversial. He was controversial back then anyway. But I
Yeah,
mean, look at all the effort he made as well. He was out and about, out in the streets and doing his
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
There was real effort and thought
yeah,
put into everything that they were doing. Even the Tommy Cooper show,
yeah,
thought and effort. And I was actually watching live when he took that heart attack and everybody thought it was a joke. I was watching live with me mum and dad. We watched him die on stage.
yeah, yeah,
It was sad. Gutted. I remember me dad being gutted. Good, because he loved him, loved Tommy Cooper. He was old fashioned comedy, but he was great. It wasn't cheap, if you know what I mean. It was
yeah.
like
And
it was
Freddie
cheap,
Starr was
but
another.
what he did was he elevated it. He made it
Yeah,
better. Yeah, then you
yeah,
had Kenny Everett. I remember him as well.
yeah.
Man, Jesus, look. I just thinking back of all the stuff we watched. And do you remember Pop Black as well? We had
I
Pop
can't
Black,
remember that
the
one.
snooker game. We had that as well. And then we had the one with Jim Davison and what's his face? He does the
John,
commentary.
thingy bob.
John
John
Virgo.
Virgo. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
and they did that snooker show together as well.
It's
That was
only a
great.
game or something like that.
Yeah. That was a great show as well. Look, we grew up with I mean, to even think of a concept to make a game show out of a game of snooker, Big Break,
Yeah,
that's what it was. Big
Big
Break.
Break. Yeah, I
That
can
that was
remember that.
great. That was great. I love that. If you haven't
And
watched
and
Big Break,
and even
folks,
and even all those, or even all this, all the televisions for children, how to make things and everything like that. and you had Tony Hart with
Oh, I love Tony
Heartbeat,
Hart.
and
Heartbeat,
all
lovely.
and Morph and all that, and
Yeah,
everything like that. I mean, there's nothing in television like that now.
no.
I mean, even back in the day, Russell T Davis had done something, a children's show. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Why Don't You? I don't know. I can't remember.
You also had Saturday night. Do you remember? Saturday mornings was big
Yeah,
as
I think.
well. You had
Yeah,
on
so
Channel 4, you had the Big Breakfast, if I
yeah,
remember. You
yeah,
had the Big Breakfast. But then on Saturday on BBC, they had a lot of these, as you said,
yeah,
educational shows and
yeah,
arts and crafts shows.
yeah,
I remember that as well. You had your news rounds, you had your Blue Peter
yep,
during the week as well. Um, yeah, man, I tell you, we were spoiled. We were
yeah,
spoiled. Maybe that's why we're Mounty holes now. But we have
probably.
every right. But we have every right because, look, as kids, that's the quality of TV we got, right? I mean, the quality should have even got better as the years went on, not got worse. I mean, they've brought Blankety Blank back, right?
Yeah,
With Bradley Walsh.
yeah,
Now, it's not the same because the intelligence behind the questions that they're asking is not the same as it was back in the day. But Bradley Walsh does a good job. He's a
yeah,
good host and would make a great host if they actually got the show right, right?
yeah,
But this is what they're doing now. Instead of actually creating something new because they're creatively bankrupt, they're going back to these old shows and old formulas. And they're thinking, right,
yeah,
what other new
yeah.
shows should we bring out? Right? It won't work. It won't work.
It was
Bullseye
even the
worked in the
same.
day, right? They've tried to bring
Yeah,
Bullseye back.
yeah,
Bullseye's not going to work today.
yeah,
Only dart nuts now will watch Bullseye.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
years ago, it was different. It was different. Darts wasn't as mainstream, so it was nice to see something different on TV. But now you can watch dart tournaments all over the shop now, right? These shows won't work anymore. It's like, would the generation game work today? Yeah, it probably would work today, but you would need a brilliant host. You would need someone with personality, like a Jim Davison or Bruce Forsyth that also hosted that show as well. So, I mean, you would need someone like that. And is there an actual presenter out there that's like those two? No. So
no,
you couldn't bring that back. It's the same with, I know they've done Family Fortunes with Vernon Kay, but it's not the same. It's not the same because what made that was Les Dennis. You know, he'd be there and then he'd put on these silly voices and stuff like that. That's what made
yeah,
it, you know? And then he got real serious when I got down to the last round. Like, but that's why we loved it because of him. You can't just rehash these old shows, bring in new presenters and think they're gonna work because it's a formula that worked back in the 80s and 90s. We're living in the 2000s now, right? Things have changed. You have to change. Bringing these shows back is not the right thing to do.
yep,
Now, we'll shut up now because we've talked enough about British TV. But in fairness, that's what you all missed in America. I'm pretty sure in America, the TV was probably awesome on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings.
yeah, yeah,
So, but in UK, really did have the cream of the crop. And we haven't even mentioned any of the sci-fi shows or the big comedy shows that were out at the time either. They were all sandwiched in with that as well. And then you had your detective stories, right? You had Inspector Morse, right?
yeah,
And then you had Taggart, stuff like
yeah.
that, you know. And then you had David Jason and what was the detective he played?
Touch of Frost or something
Yeah,
like
Touch of
that.
Frost, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You know, you had those amazing detective dramas as well. Oh man, we were
yeah,
spoiled rotten, man. These kids don't even realize how good TV actually was. I would suggest even to this day people go and watch Gladiators, right? And some of these shows, if you are from the other side of the pond, some of these other shows that we've mentioned, because trust me, yous are in for a treat. Yous will see what we grew up with. and it was brilliant. You know, and you had your variety shows. You know, you have X Factor and all today, which they've all ran out of steam now. I don't think they're finishing them all up now. But back in their day, we had, you know, we had that show, Stars in Your Eyes, where ordinary people from the public would uh, get transformed into the person that they were going to sing. So we had one year, and this stands out. There's actually two singers that stands out for me on that show. It was the one that did Olivia Newton-John's song, "Hopelessly Devoted to You." She won it, and then you had another year. You had a fella that was doing Freddie Mercury, right? And he won it. He sounded exactly like Freddie. That was hosted by what was his name? Sutton Kelly.
Matthew Kelly.
Matthew Kelly. Something happened to his career then. There was some sort of I forget what it was, but his career never took off after that. But he did have another show as well where he went around shopping centers and stuff. That was brilliant.
I think his success was in A Game for a Laugh back in the 80s. Remember that?
Yeah,
With
he did a
Sarah
lot.
Kennedy.
Yeah, and you also had what's his name, Michael Barrymore as well.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that Strike It Lucky and Strike It Rich was quite good.
Yeah, I loved that, and I loved his other show as well.
Yeah.
Very sad. What happened?
Yeah. But it just goes to show you the entertainment industry is lacking the talent, the true talent these days. I mean, I don't know what's happening.
I think Dermot Morgan's a good host. I think there are a few good hosts out there, but they're different. They're different. So you can't give them. You need to be, if you're going to create shows like that again. You need to come up with a new formula now and something new. You know, those TV shows and all those shows that we mentioned had their time.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed them while they were around. In fairness, shows like Gladiators, you know, you could do again. You know, you could do them again, but it wouldn't sound the same because for us, you know, the referee, I love the referee in it. He was brilliant. He was Scottish lad, if I remember correctly. I think his name was John as well. I forget what his second name was, but he'd say, "Gladiators ready, contenders ready," and then he'd blow his whistle. And then they'd interview him then after and stuff like that. Shows like Gladiators you could bring back again, but it wouldn't have the same connection for me as it did for us back in the day. But I know they did break. I know at one stage they did have Gladiators. Then they started doing it in America. Then they did. Then what they did was is they did a season or a couple of seasons where a couple of the gladiators from the UK would go to America. A couple of the Americans would come over to the UK version, and I didn't like that. I just didn't like the American gladiators. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, because America, you know, these titles were great. But of course, like, you know, the brick gladiators put you in these places. But yeah, great show. And here's the courtroom scene.
Yeah, with the Scoleri brothers. I mean, this is their first bust in a long time. So they announced that they're back in business after this. I mean, the effects are still well done for the time, but the majority of the effects in this doesn't stand very well. We're no
Yeah, but
Ghostbusters.
it was a long time.
Yeah.
Long time ago now.
I actually thought Janine was quite hot in this.
Annie Potts.
Compared to what she was like in Ghostbusters 1. I mean, they were really trying to impress with this. I mean, they done up Ecto 1. They had all this new gear on top of its roof, and they had the signs on it and everything like that, the illuminated signs and everything like that, and they done extremely well. Love the costumes here, the Ghostbusters 2 costumes. He just wants to crush the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. But the only problem with Ecto 1A is with all that stuff on top of the roof, you know, when it was swerving around the corner there, it looked like it was going to tip over. And I always like the scenes with all the new equipment and that, the stuff that they didn't have any longer shoots with. They
Yeah,
just
and
only
the
had
new
one scenes
jumpsuit,
with.
the darker
Yeah.
jumpsuits as well, yeah, which I liked.
I do like the darker flight suits with the Ghostbusters 2 logo patch on the arm. I really do. It's more better than the kind of khaki version of the flight suits.
But that's exactly the way the merchandise was. It was everywhere.
Yeah. And I can remember when it came out in video, they had all those adhesive window stickers saying "on video" on it. You could get them in the video shop. I mean, I get loads of them in the video shop back then because I was waiting in the video. I do like the concept of the mood slime because it's quite intelligent. It's like it can react to negative emotions and all that, and how the thing that Egon was actually studying in the beginning about how negative emotions could affect the physical environment, and here they get a true manifestation of it, the slime. I remember I did with the friends in my neighbourhood. We were all playing Ghostbusters and all that, and I remember that we had the we had a kind of tub of slime, and we were kind of pretending the bubbles were all coming out of it and that. So that bit brings back memories for me. The toaster. It's good how they actually had made that toaster bounce like that. This is the first time that she notices the painting looking at her and smiling at her. I think that's well done for its time. I mean, the head merging from the painting like that in the beginning. But with Ghostbusters 2, it doesn't really explain why Vigo has returned. I mean, he's wanting to return into human form. That's quite obvious. But the fact is that how did Vigo create the magnetic slime flow for him to kind of return and use it as a kind of a kind of protective shield around the 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 art museum. Bit of a sissy, isn't he? He's a very powerful magician, Dr. Venkman. Ain't he a genius? You can see that Bill Murray's struggling with this film because he's not really getting much of his humour across. And it's not really doing much for his performances. Unlike the first Ghostbusters film. Because I think they basically kind of let him do what he would like in that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying there, Netflix is raising their prices. It's time for the TV license to go now.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm being honest, if these subscription apps are going to start raising the prices,
Yeah.
fair enough. It's a euro here, but still, it's a euro more than what it should be. Um, I think the TV license has to be scrapped. I mean,
Yeah.
look, yeah, not television is not being viewed the same way. We do know that people
Yeah.
will choose the streaming services that they want. I think TV, the way it is now, it's model now. I think is finished. To be quite honest with you, get rid of the TV license, and then people will have more money to spend on more of these subscription services, and then in the long run, everybody is happy. Then the consumer gets more choice than ever, right? And then these people behind the streaming apps will become more successful. And then with more success comes more money. With more money then comes with bigger productions and better quality TV show and movie. But get rid of that TV license. It's killing everybody. Scrap the license.
Yep.
Well, she doesn't want to go back because the
No.
bat tried to eat her an Oscar.
I really just don't understand why they don't update the effects for this film. They could actually do that. Kind of have modern CGI. Because for the Blu-ray edition, they've really cleaned it up, and it looks like they filmed it yesterday.
Yeah, some studios, they don't really like taking the risk on all franchises anymore.
Yeah.
'Cause it can be an expensive process. But I agree. Do you know what Flash Gordon could do with an owl? An owl clean up. Because
Yeah.
some of the effects in that are a bit bogey. But if you updated that a little, I think if you update the Flash Gordon movie, I don't know if they actually do have a 4K remastered version. I don't know, but they should. They should definitely do it. That movie is a cult classic. It deserves to get an upgrade.
I think they've done that with Gremlins. Upgraded it a little bit slightly for the 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Force Gremlins movie. Did I hear a rumor that we might be getting a Gremlins TV show?
Well, there's a Gremlins cartoon show coming out, and this year, sometime this year, I don't know when. It's called Gremlins: The Secret of the Mogwai.
I wouldn't mind watching that now.
Have you seen the gizmo for that?
No.
You can look it up online.
Hold
Uh,
on, I'll
it's
check now.
it's not a very good rendition of Gizmo. It's CGI. It's like a kind of
Oh, so they're not using the animatronic.
they're not using animatronics. It's just going to be kind of CGI cartoon thing.
They shouldn't have done that because even with the Chucky TV show they used the animatronics.
You seen how bad this is?
I'm having a look now. Hold on. Like I mean, they had him in that TV ad. Do you remember? And he looked
Yeah,
brilliant. He looked brilliant because they were still using the animatronic.
yeah. It's appearing in HBO Max in 2022.
They're
It
even
just looks a bit kind of childish.
here. Even the original Gremlins writer Chris Columbus says that if he ever made a Gremlins 3,
Yeah,
he would stick to using puppets and largely
yeah.
stay away from CGI.
I think that's the same with Joe Dante. I think he will stay away from the CGI aspect of it and have puppets. Um,
Oh, it's Chris Columbus. I don't think it is a TV show because apparently he has a script for a third movie.
yeah, he's got a script ready for the third movie, but it's the HBO Max Secret of the Mogwai.
Why are they doing that for? Let the original writer do his movie. Secret
Yeah,
of the Mogwai.
I mean the gizmo that it looks kind of blocky. It looks kind of rubbish.
Ah, for God's sake, what have they done with his eyes?
Yeah, they've give the gizmo
No,
big eyes and that.
what have they done with his eyes? It's all wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I
That
noticed the wee bit of white in his ears is missing as well.
what have they that oh man, I have to do a video on this shit. Holy no way. No.
It's really that bad
No,
looking.
I'm not on board with that at all. No way. No, that is ridiculous looking.
They've got the Mogwai, and I don't know. I don't know if that's his cage he's been running over.
There's no way, man. That has to be just a fucking. That has to be a prototype image. That's not. That can't be. Oh, the
I think it
cast.
is.
So hold on. Do you have all of this cast, right?
Yeah.
So
They've
this
got
is
everything
obviously.
wrong.
So this is obviously set before
Yeah.
we see him in the fourth movie.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe that's why he looks like that. But still, that is not what I was expecting. The eyes are wrong for starters,
Yeah.
right? It's the eyes. The eyes are completely
Yeah.
wrong.
And you can see that with the original Gizmo, you can see the fur is not joining all over, because you can see that the mouth you can see the mouth and the eyes and is joining all together. You can see the flesh from the mouth and the
Right.
around the mouth and the eyes.
I'm gonna look at the trailer, but I have this volume off. I have to see this trailer now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Actually, should I wait? Should I just react to this trailer actually? Would you like me? Hold on. I want what? Do you want me to react to this trailer? Or
I think it's just a teaser shot.
well, it's
I'm not sure.
2 minutes plot and details. Okay, it's not a trailer. Okay, well then. I don't know. I look. Obviously, it's to introduce kids to Gizmo. That's fair enough, and the
Yeah.
Mogwai and stuff like that. But at least get look. It is. It does look like a younger version, and maybe his eyes were like that. I don't know, but I just those eyes don't look right to me, and straight away that's a red flag. And I know some
Yeah.
people will say, "Oh, but you're moaning over the." Well, it was the same with Sonic the Hedgehog, right? When they got that design wrong. Now, I wasn't going as crazy as many people were when they brought out the first version of Sonic the Hedgehog. Uh, that picture that they showed us and then in the trailer, and everybody hated it. I wasn't as bad as everybody else, but at the same time, I was thinking to myself, well, they can do better, right? And obviously, then they got a spot on, right? It's the same with this, man.
I would
You've
hate
got to
to
get
see
these
what the
characters.
Gremlins are like.
Oh, for God's, don't even go there, man. Don't even go there, man. Do you look at it like Gizmo or Scrooge?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? Forget about that. If Chris Columbus is doing look at maybe that's why they're doing it, doing the cartoon for the kids. He brings out then the third movie,
Yeah.
right? That I think Gremlins might be the next big franchise that they're probably gonna try and revive. And if he has a decent script for part three, bring it on, I say. But you've got to bring back what's his face.
Stripe.
No, not the David. Is it David? No. What's the
Billy
lads?
Pulsar.
Billy. Yeah, you have to bring Billy back.
Yeah.
You have to bring Billy back. Look, they did an ad with Billy and Gizmo. I think Billy and the Gizmo were sitting on a sofa. I think it
Yeah.
was for Mountain Dew or something like that. It was
Yeah.
something like that, and they were there, and it looked deadly. Like
Yeah.
bring him back. Maybe make it about his kids or something. You know,
Yeah.
Billy has to be there to save his kids or something from the gremlins or something like that. Like you, but make that connection, or at least Billy gets a cameo like they did in Ghostbusters. You know, but
I mean,
yeah,
that's the first proper rendition of a Gizmo prop since the 90s, since the last film in 1990.
yeah, the new batch,
Yeah.
which had interesting concepts,
Yeah.
had some weird shit in it as well, though. Human falling and fire bleeding. Yeah, gremlin.
I think Gremlins 2 was the result of a new batch because of the fact that it was because of the genetics
No,
genetic
I get
tampering
it.
with the
I get what they were trying to do with it. They had to
yeah
come up with something original for the
yeah
second one, and they did. In
yeah
fairness to them, I'll give it to them. They did.
yeah
But there was. It's a good look. It's not actually a bad movie, to be honest with you. I just think the first one is just so iconic. Again, it's like
Yeah,
Ghostbusters too. The first Ghostbusters is iconic. It
yeah,
was Ghostbusters 2 was never going to live up to the expectations of the first one, right? Even though the second one you could argue was promoted a lot more than the original, which was the case because it was everywhere, but it didn't do as well. And it's the same with a new batch; it didn't do as well, But
yeah. But they're saying that everything depends on the success of this
yeah,
cartoon.
the cartoon, because that's what
Yeah,
I've been reading just there. Yeah, it's weird that you actually said that because I'm literally reading HBO Max's Gremlins. Secret of the Mogwai premieres in late 2021, and
yeah,
teases that the new series could lead to another live action movie, obviously based on the success of the Look, I hope it does well. I might just fucking watch the thing just
yeah,
to make sure they bring out that third movie. Um, we have to look. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. The cartoon doesn't look great, right?
no, it
With what
doesn't.
we've seen so far, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be well written.
Yeah,
And if it's well written, we might be able to just look past it, knowing that if this shows a success, that we get a third movie. Now, I'm not saying people should like it if they don't like it. Obviously, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Yeah, I don't like the cartoon version of Gizmo, but I'll give it a go. And if it's well written, I don't think we'll really give a crap. Like us purists will. Obviously, we will. We'd still be
yeah,
annoyed that they didn't get it right. Okay, but maybe if this goes a couple of seasons, we might see that character actually develop into the character that we know. We don't know what age little Gizmo is in this cartoon yet,
yeah,
right? So I'm not going to jump the gun, but I will say, I'm a bit paid though, because they could have done a little bit better. I think they dumbed down animation for over the years, which is actually baffling because the technology now is so good. It's like they're using the cheap option. And Chris Columbus says that the third movie is being held up by rights issues. So
yeah,
this is why. So if this TV show is a success, right, then they might lift the rights issues and then let them do the third one. In fairness, I don't know why they just didn't do a third movie first and then do the cartoon. That would make more sense. Do the third one in the franchise. If that becomes successful, then do your little animated TV show, and then show. Then actually that's the prequel. Then and then you do the history of the Mogwai, the secrets or whatever the feck it's called. You know. But I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Look, I'll give it a go. Like I'm going to give the Alien TV show a go, which I think has disaster written all over it. But I'll give that a go. I'm willing
yeah,
to give all of these shows a go. Like I even seen the trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Have to say the trailer looked pretty impressive to me, but trailers are very deceiving. I will say that. But it looked interesting. The music sounds bleeding brilliant. So I'll give that a go. There's already people moaning and bitching about it. They haven't seen a thing yet, right? All they're hearing is rumors from unreliable sources, right? And they set up the narrative. This is what
yeah,
happens. They set up the narrative. They say, "Oh, this is going to be shit because this is going to happen," in it. Then it turns out it doesn't happen at all, right? We were hearing loads of stuff about the Mandalorian, this stuff that was supposed to happen in the first season, never happened. Then the second season was saying crap over and over again. A couple of channels got a spot on with the Luke Skywalker
yeah,
cameo, obviously. They were spot on about that, right? But the majority of the ones that are out there, no. They've got it wrong. So I'll watch these shows for myself, and that's what I'd encourage other people to do. Listen, media and even YouTubers now, they all set up a narrative, and it's disingenuous. They all have their own agenda. They all have their own narrative. They have to be seen to be fighting this corner, even though some of the stuff they come out with is absolutely ridiculous. But there you go. And now, how do you feel about Lethal Weapon 5 with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover returning to reprise their roles? Too old. Too old, in my opinion. I think the franchise left on a high with Lethal Weapon 4. I like that movie. Not as gritty as the first two. Obviously, the franchise kind of softened up, didn't it, after Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, and then 4 were the. But I think that was it. I don't think they should be coming back. Just like Indiana Jones. I think Harrison Ford's too old to play the role, but at the end of the day, I will watch it. I will give it a go. I'm not going to be as negative as people are about it, because I'm not listening to what people are saying about it. I'll watch the movie. I'll go in blind.
Yeah.
And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But, most of the stuff that I'm hearing is about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Apparently, she's going to end up taking over the franchise and stuff like that. Well, it won't be called Indiana Jones after that anyway, because, Harrison Ford obviously won't be doing another one. So they'll probably rename the franchise anyway, unless she's a child of Indiana that he doesn't know about. That's the only way that would make sense. So I don't know why people are getting their knickers in a twist. At the end of the day, and again, if they say that like this woman fools him or whatever, right? Well, you obviously haven't watched the other movies, because in every single one of them, the woman gets the better of him. But they'll say, well, it's a narrative that they'll throw out, even in the the Last Crusade, your woman Elsa is she actually tricks the two Indiana boys, the dad and the son. So if they start giving you this narrative that Phoebe Waller-Bridge makes show of Indiana Jones happened before in other movies, but this is the narrative that they'll throw out. Listen, I know everybody hates Kathleen Kennedy, and that's fair enough. I agree, because, look what she did with the sequel trilogy. She did destroy Star Wars, and I'll agree with that. But at the end of the day, all this moaning and bitching Cincinnati that she has her hands on or her name is attached to is automatically bad. She worked on the other Indiana Jones movies as well, which is the funny thing. She was part of them. Her name is connected to those movies. Right, okay, the Crystal Skulls movie was an absolute disaster. I will agree, right? But the first couple of movies, well, actually, you got Raiders, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade. That to me is the trilogy right there. Am I missing one? No, I'm not. Well, I am the Crystal Skulls, but I don't class that, because that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the first scene of that movie just told me that movie was going to be shit. He gets into a lead fucking fridge and he survives a nuclear fucking bomb. Yeah. So we'll see. Look, I'll watch Indiana Jones, and I will go in. I will go in with an open mind. It's as simple as that. That's the way it should be. But everybody has an agenda now. They don't like Kathleen Kennedy, so they have to pour out the negative rhetoric. And that happens on set. And by the way, here's the thing as well. It's not the first time on the Indiana Jones set that Harrison Ford has injured himself, right? Right, but because people have an agenda now, they focus on all the things that go wrong during production, right? Every production of any movie or TV show does not run smoothly. And if they were to analyze the way they do with Kathleen Kennedy projects, right, and they did the same analysis on other franchises, you would soon find that it's rife throughout the industry, right? Nothing ever runs smooth, right? If it did, then it'd be easy, and it's not easy. So that's what they focus on. They focus on all the things that have went wrong during this production, because you have to keep the narrative up that Kathleen Kennedy is ruining stuff and this, that, and the other, right? There's always bad stuff happening in production. It doesn't matter. Ever since the time of TV was invented, when the camera, when movie studios start doing silent movies as well, nothing ran smooth. There were always problems. Even back in the day, actors and actresses were killed when they were doing stunts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So this is nothing new, right? But this is the narrative that they've set for every. There's problems behind Mandalorian. Now there's problems behind Boba Fett. There's problems behind Obi-Wan. There's problems behind Indiana Jones, right? It's the narrative, right? It
Yeah.
happens with everything, and not just with Disney, right? Happens with the other companies out there as well, including TV, with BBC, BBC America, and all those other channels out there. They all have their problems. Wherever TV show that they have, there's always problems behind the scenes. But this is what these people just keep focusing on. So, just watch. My point is like, as I said, like the media critics, some of these pop culture YouTube channels are starting to lose their credibility
Yeah.
because they can't see past their agenda. And I have, because I used to be like that. I'd focus on all the problems with Jodie Whittaker,
Yeah.
right? But then I shifted. It wasn't all her fault, right? It was the fella that hired her in the first place, right?
Yep.
And then it was the people above him, right? But they haven't seen that of any of these things that they're talking about, right? And this is why I'm actually a bit pissed about it, because wait until you see them first. And then if you turn out to, if it turns out that it's everything that you thought it was going to be, then fine, fair enough. But you don't know yet. You haven't seen nothing. You've seen a couple of photographs and you've heard Harrison Ford injured himself, and then that's a big deal. Everything's falling apart. Or Kathleen Kennedy's sticking her nose in this, that, and the other. You don't know fuck all. Nobody knows that. Everybody has an agenda.
Yep.
I used to have one. It was to get rid of Jodie Whittaker. Right? So I know how people think. And this is why I've changed, because it's not fair on me subscribers either. You know, I've always been honest, right? But I focused on one issue rather than focusing on everything that was going wrong. But this is what these people are doing. They're focusing on Kathleen Kennedy, or if it's not Kathleen Kennedy, it's Jon Favreau, or it's the other guy. What's his name? The fella with the cowboy hat. They all hate him more. What's his name? Jon Favreau, and what's the other fella that does Star Wars with him? See, I can't even think of his name because I think of Jon Favreau more. But anyway, now people are saying, "Oh, those two lads don't understand the show. Oh, they don't understand Star Wars." It's not Star Wars. You keep saying it's not Star Wars, right? So this is my point, man. What's the point of still bitching and moaning 5-6 years later? You clearly all say it's Disney Star Wars. You still have his original movies, the George Lucas movies. So, like, these movies are not for you guys. They've made that clear. So, to still keep up the same arguments 5 years later, I just don't get it, man. Look, it's not for you guys. You will never like it. I don't know why you just keep complaining about it. It comes a point where it's time to just let go, like what I've done with Doctor Who. You just have to let go.
Yeah, you've just got to let go of it.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe one day someone will come in and understand Star Wars and will start from scratch again, and then you will be behind that person. That's what will happen. You know, I just don't think it's healthy for people to keep, because I've done it for years. It's time. It's time to move on. This era was never for me. I should have actually stopped watching after Series 11. That was the mistake I made. But I won't make that same mistake again if Doctor Who ever goes down that path or route again. I'm out. I'm out because I'm not going to spend the next 4 or 5 years complaining about something that I just don't like anymore, and that's sad. But you know, sometimes you've just got to let go. It's hard, but you have to do it for your own sanity. The Lethal Weapon TV series was pretty good. Well, for the first and the second series, it was at least. Yeah, didn't they replace the actor then? Because he said he was apparently abusive to his co-stars or something like that, or he was very unpredictable and people felt uncomfortable, so they got rid of him. And I think the show after that then nosedived, didn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Lethal Weapon TV series. I won't watch the Lethal Weapon TV series, just like I won't watch the one with Tom Cruise that they turned into a TV series, the one with the precogs, the one where they could Minority Report. They also did that. They had a 12 Monkey show as well, which I was going to watch because I heard some great things about it, but I never got around to it. But again, they were going through this phase where they were changing movie franchises and then they're doing TV shows out of them for a while. And, at the time I wasn't really a fan of that kind of stuff, if you don't get me. Um, but I will eventually check it out, I think, because I heard some good things about 12 Monkeys. So I'll see. Yeah, but there's a lot of movies that have been turned into TV shows, and it's great. For example, Turner and Hooch was another one,
Yeah.
which I actually liked. Right, I did like the TV show, right, and I loved the movie anyway. But I love the TV show, and I get stick for that because a lot of people don't like the TV show. But I thought it was great. Uh, they said there's no chemistry between the dog and the main actor, and I disagree because I watched it, right, and the chemistry between the two of them is brilliant. So I don't know where they're getting that from. So like some of the episodes are really naff, but that's the whole point. It's Turner and Hooch. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. People take things too fucking seriously nowadays. I did for ages, but as I said, it comes at a point in your life where it's time to let go. This era is not for me,
Yeah.
but I'll watch it to the end and I'll still give me opinion about it. But like at the end day, once it's done, it's done. But if Chris Chibnall of RTD goes down the same route as Chibnall, right? And everything that I've been told doesn't indicate that he will anyway. But if he did, right, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'd rather not watch the show than complain about it again for another 5 years. No way. No way. We'll do something else, man.
I mean, this is completely hilarious. This scene, Yarnos dressed as a nanny come to get Oscar and
Yeah.
as a ghost.
Yeah, I do love that scene. Lethal Weapon TV series wasn't worth it, and Damon Wayans' off-screen antics was disappointing. His ego forced Clayton Crawford. Yeah, that's the guy that they booted off. Yeah, off the series. Sure, it never recovered after that anyway, did it? So like they've only got themselves to blame for that. Yeah, if you let ego get in the way, well then you're doomed. You're doomed. Here comes the ultimate evil, Nanny McPhee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loved those bleeding movies.
I didn't like the Nanny McPhee things.
No, neither did I. I don't know what the big fascination was with them. It always felt like a bit of a rip-off of Mary Poppins to me.
Yeah. I always thought it was good how they get the slime to come down through all the various bits of the art museum,
Yeah.
cover the entrance and everything like that. I think they did model shots for this as well. But there's rumours right now that the fourth Ghostbuster movie might have Vigo returning. Uh, I don't know what you don't know if he'd bring the slime back or what he would do.
I don't know. Will Jason actually do the next one down now? His father's passed away. I don't know if he'd be in the right frame of mind, because remember,
Yeah,
his father was on set with him for Afterlife as well. Um and this will be probably, since the Ghostbusters franchise, well, it will be the four. I don't know if he'd actually, like, you could do
yeah,
one to probably pay homage to his dad. I think that's what Afterlife did, but his dad was
yeah,
alive at the time. I don't know if he'd actually do it not having his dad around. I'd love to see another one. I think it is open. They have left it open to go either way with the franchise. Um, I would love them to do another one, because I think Afterlife was a success, no matter what the journalists out there say. It was, and it will be proven when the numbers. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I don't care. Look, some journalists tried to say it didn't do as well as 2016. Uh, uh, right, but I will say this, right? If that is the case, right, which I doubt is the case anyway, but if that is the case, the difference between 2016 and now is the fact that 2016 came out at a time where there was no pandemic and stuff. Cinemas were open all over the world. The difference with Afterlife, when it was released, it was only in selected cinemas,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because not all cinemas were open. So if and I say if it has underperformed like 2016 did, well, there are reasons why, but I will say this: I think overall this movie will make more money than the 2016 version, and I think that's what will determine whether Sony decides it's, yeah, let's do another one. Let's see if Jason is on board. But I say Sony would definitely want to do another one, with or without him,
Yeah,
to be quite honest with you. But I'd say they'd rather have him in than out. So we'll see what happens. But I look, I don't care how it performed in the cinema, because we know that the whole the whole dynamic of cinema
this
has
is a
changed.
Titanic scene coming up now.
Yeah, here it is.
He says the Titanic's just arrived.
Yeah, there it is.
Look at
And
that.
all the ghosts coming out of it.
Yeah. Well, better late than never. I still can't get around how this is over 30 years old now. Ghostbusters 2.
I know.
Because I saw it in the cinema, this one, and I went with my mum's friend, and she took me away to see it.
I love when he throws him out. Get out. It's all your fault. Get me the Ghostbusters. This is a pretty iconic scene.
Yeah. It's
See, it
great how
doesn't
they
look
done
bad
that.
there. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
look bad there now. See,
yeah.
it doesn't look actually bad there. They probably would have
Some
had a
respect to
silhouette
the
of the
Ghostbusters.
skyline, and then in the back they had the lighting
Yeah.
techniques with the smoke probably going through the lights going through the smoke.
I mean, it's an iconic scene here. We can see the revamped Ecto 1A with all its lights on.
I had one. I had one lit up and all it did. It got did
Yeah.
I actually got it at Christmas. The movie came out.
Uh-huh.
My mum and dad got me one, and it was the best present for Christmas I ever got.
Yeah.
But I could tell you within 3 weeks it was broken.
Yeah. See, I had the Kenner Ecto one. It was my gran that got it for me for my Christmas, but it did nothing. It was just a kind of plastic toy car that just had a wee kind of claw that kind of
Yeah,
drew the ghost back into it. But I loved it, and I played with it outside until it got scuffed and scored and everything like that.
yeah, my one lit up and stuff, and it make
Yeah,
it sound. But what happened
yeah,
was is my little brother
yeah,
at the time, he liked playing with it, but he picked it up and he dropped it one time. And the
yeah,
lights, you see the green lights that are on top of it, the green and
yeah,
red lights, they
yeah.
broke off, they did. And then
Oh,
that was it. It was like I glued them back together, but they never lit up again. But then
yeah,
soon after, then it just fell apart. It's like me pirate ship that we built.
yeah. And in I think it was the late 90s, when this film had been released. It was Pound Stretcher in the UK that started to release the Ghostbusters, all the Ghostbusters figures and all that, and they were as cheap as anything.
Mm.
I mean, they were sold for about £6 a packet in the likes of Woolworths or John Menzies and that, or Tesco or Argos or whatever, and they were down to about £1 or £2, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. They were selling all the stock off. And one day I was in Perth and up at the pound stretchers up in Perth, and I was looking at the windows. A huge the Ecto One vehicle, the Ecto One A vehicle, was only about £3.50.
Nice.
And I could not believe it. £3.50 for the huge the huge the car, the plastic Kenner car. I couldn't believe it because they were nearly about £20 back in the 80 it was 87 or 86, around about then. I tell you, I wish I got a whole load of them and actually kept them, and I could sell them for hundreds of pounds on eBay.
Oh no, yeah, yeah, definitely, man.
See,
So
the
you don't
problem is
realize
that,
at the time when you have them that years later these things are going to be very expensive and unique and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I don't have any of my original Ghostbusters toys left. They're all gone.
Yeah,
I bought a couple of the kind of the modern ones, but they're that expensive. I mean, £20 for a single one.
yeah. Dave just said there, Noel, have you seen the Playmobil one? I have the DeLorean, and it
Yeah,
lights up and stuff. It's great. And I have seen the Playmobil one, which I want, but they're not cheap. They're very expensive, as John said. It's not even for a Playmobil one. Like you can get two different versions. You get the one that's obviously got more detail in it, and
yeah.
that's obviously the DeLorean one that I have. The one with, and it was more expensive. So yeah, that's the one I'd want to get because I want the one that lights up and makes the sound. And we've got the DeLorean one that lights up there for me. It's great. Um, and the doors
I
open.
always thought this scene was a bit ridiculous, bringing the Statue of Liberty to life.
Yeah, it's got the pole at the back of it. It's got the
Yeah,
the 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 little place to put the plutonium.
yeah.
Even the flux capacitor inside it lights up, which is great. The doors open, the wheels bend up, like it does in Back to the Future too. Um, it's a great little model, but it's very expensive and it's heavy as well for a toy. It's very heavy. But I do want to get the Ghostbusters one, but unfortunately it's very expensive. I got that one actually as a gift, believe it or not, from Australia. Um so yeah, I have that DeLorean. It's right there in front of me actually. I'll get the camera on the next time and I'll show some of you guys. I did do a video and I did show her, but yeah, I do love that scene where she puts the flight suit on him.
Yeah,
And then he has the earmuffs on.
yeah. And in Ghostbusters Afterlife, Janine's not get married. She's still going by the name Janine Melnitz.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of questions about Ghostbusters Afterlife as well because Egon had a daughter. What happened to the mother? Assuming that she passed away.
yeah, this scene is ridiculous, but look, it is
Yeah.
what it is.
It's how could they get a big statue like that? And that statue is made by concrete and copper. I mean, for a huge structure like that to kind of move, it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, even the whole scene where, like, fair enough, he has a joystick to
Yeah,
control it, but it still
yeah, and
doesn't
it's
make
from a
sense.
Nintendo.
But he still doesn't. It still doesn't explain how they're able to
Yeah.
control it.
Well, it was the fact that they could actually control it through the because of the mood slime, because the mood slime was positively charged, and they got the music to kind of excite the statue,
This
to
scene
kind of
is
animate the statue.
this scene is funny.
Slimer and the
We all love Slimer. That was the one thing I was disappointed about the Afterlife, though.
yeah.
We didn't get Slimer.
No doubt that Slimer will be in Ghostbusters 4. I would think there would be a Ghostbusters 4.
I think that end scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. We won't spoil it just yet, but I'm kind of thinking that's where Slimer is. You know, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I hope they do it. But obviously, Jason and his family at the moment are going through a tough time. So
Wholesome. It's good how they done this.
I don't even know why they're doing another Lethal Weapon movie.
Yeah.
You do know when we get more details, I'll obviously look into it and see what this one's going to be about. But I don't know. I mean, Mel Gibson would probably pass, but I haven't seen Danny Glover in years. I don't know how he's aged and stuff. So that's the problem with these. Like it's from four, right? So you got part four, and now you've decided to do part five. How many years is between them? Wasn't part four in the 90s as well? So I was near the end of the 90s, but still, you're looking at a good distance from four to five. I just don't know why you'd wait this long. I know Mel has had his problems over the years, and maybe that's what stopped a fifth one from being made. Maybe they would have made a fifth one. But you're going to bring Joe Pesci back as well. Like, I mean, leave it alone. Basically, we've had four movies. They're great movies. I think the first two are still the better movies. But I do like part three and four. They're just not as gritty as the first two, but it's still a good franchise. Why do a fifth one? I just don't see the point, especially after all this time. Like I know they probably looked at maybe there is a companies looking at the way Ghostbusters Afterlife has actually done, which would suggest to me it's done very well. If studios are thinking of bringing back movie sequels that are like 20, 30 years a fucking part now. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. You never know. They could be, do you know what it could be? They could be working in the office now, right? One of them's probably captain now, proper this time. I know they made them captain in one move because they couldn't promote them
I
up
always
to the rank.
objected to this scene, what they done with that child. I mean, that child was actually screaming in that. That child must have been actually afraid.
Oh,
I
here's
mean,
Air
to
Muffin.
to hold a baby like that and let it cry like that, and I know they had to do that for the scenes and all that, but Viggy, 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 you've been a bad monkey.
Again, as well, I thought the way they defeated Vigo in this movie, it was kind of over in a flashbang.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and you could argue the same with Gozer in Ghostbusters 1, but you had that
Yeah,
iconic scene with the Stave Puft Marshmallow Man, so that's what made that actually good. But I thought the way they defeated Vigo here was a bit too quick.
yeah. But glad that they defeated Vigo in the end anyway.
Ah, yeah, and then the painting at the end, even though it is funny, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Like, but we'll go with it anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit kind of naff that scene, but
Yeah.
that's what it is. Pushing the baby to the side so they can have a snog. Why am I tripping with goo?
And then they start to, I love you, I love you, I love you. Actually, maybe they should get that slime and go over to Russia and
Yeah,
spray President Putin. Maybe he'll
yeah.
pull his troops out of Ukraine. You know, we can all dream.
Bit ridiculous that painting. I think Ghostbusters 2 was okay for the time that it was made. I mean, a lot of it doesn't stand up too well for today, but it's not as good as the original one.
No,
But what can you do?
I still have a soft spot for it, as I
Yeah,
said. That's why I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. To be honest, it's just I think the first one is far superior, and I
yeah.
do
I'm
think
going to
this
give it
one,
an 8 out of 10.
yeah, and I do think this one tries to repeat the same
Yeah,
trick again. To be quite honest with you, um, as I said, it has its own personal moments, and it has its own funny moments as well. But
yeah.
overall, I do like those jumpsuits, though. See, there are certain things, that I
You
do
know,
like about it, but
it would have been better if there was more scenes with him in these kind of jumpsuits instead of the kind of plain khaki ones.
oh, there's the judge. Like as I said, the courtroom scene is funny, but it's kind of repeated the scene in the big
Yeah,
dining room in the in
yeah,
the in the hotel that they did in the first one. So that's what I mean. There was kind of like mirror images of certain scenes, but obviously
yeah,
he did do something different. But you could tell that they were basically a mirror image of those scenes, and I think that's what it really was for me, especially when I got older. But yeah, I think 7 out of 10 is decent enough.
yeah. I think
Not as good as the original, but you know
no.
what? It's still a good entry into the franchise.
Yeah,
And I won't take that away from it. I'm gonna not gonna lie. I didn't like the Statue of Liberty scene, but I could
no.
understand the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of hope and liberty and stuff like that. So I can understand why he incorporated it into the movie. I do get it.
It's like how could the Statue of Liberty, if this was happening in the real world, how could the Statue of Liberty climb down from that
True,
to get into the
true,
sea?
true.
I mean, there's plot holes in this.
Yeah, exactly. But look, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And maybe we are,
No.
but it doesn't. As I said, it's a good entry into the franchise, but
Yeah.
um, after rewatching, this does has its own pace and comedic tempo, which works. Not quite as good as the Force, but still, I give it an A. That's exactly, yeah. And as I said, we're adding the mirror image scenes in it, trying to recreate what worked in the Force one. You could see that he was kind of doing that for the second one, and I kind of get it, you know. But yeah, I think 7 out of 10 is good. John, you gave it A.
Give
Dave
it an
has
8.
given it A as well, and Chris has given it A. So I think everybody has been really kind of, except I'm the odd one out, but I think everybody is kind of on board with it. Not as good as the first, but still has its own unique take on it. And as I said, there are some mirror images, which I
Yeah.
think if he kind of had it kept away from that, probably would have been a better movie, to be quite honest with you. He could have done different scenes and stuff like that. Thought of something instead of the Statue of Liberty. Uh, you know, maybe you could have got a better. Well, can I understand the Statue of Liberty? I think at the time when this movie was out, we were in the height of the Cold War, weren't we, and stuff, and everything was
Yeah.
negative
Yeah.
and shit, and you needed some positivity. And let's be honest, American filmmakers are probably the best at making people feel good about themselves and telling them, not now they're not, but years ago they did. Um, they would cheer you up. It was escapism. There was always a
Yeah.
message of hope, and that's what this kind of start. This version has. There was a message of hope, kind of. That's why
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty, the symbolism there. That's why they use that. But yeah, look again. It's part of the franchise that we love, and as I said, it is a worthy edition. Not as good as the Force. Never was going to
No.
live up to the Force one anyway. I don't think any movie that they've done after that. I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife comes pretty close, but it's still
Yeah,
not.
I would think so.
Ghostbusters is still the superior movie. I'd stick Afterlife in there in second
It's
place.
a masterpiece compared to the
No,
2016. Yeah.
listen for a minute. Even the animated series was a masterpiece compared
Oh
to this
yeah.
bloody 2016 version. 2016 version doesn't even exist. Anyway, according to the director, it's in a different universe, so we can ignore it, right?
Yeah.
The real trilogy here is Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, if you want to add the game, that's your own personal choice. But movie franchise, right? The trilogy is there. It's Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Afterlife. Ghostbusters 2016, right, is a different universe. Right? They fucked up with the trailer and then they came out and said, no, this is a different universe. So it's a different universe, right? Until then, they did the box set, and then the director decided that he was going to be a little bitch about it and say, "Oh, I want my movie part of the box set. Why do you hate my movie so many?" Because it was shit, right? That's just the bottom line, mate. Nobody liked your movie, okay? Only a few nutbags liked your movie. 2016 was a flop. End
Yep.
of. Right? You nearly killed the franchise, right? Then Afterlife came along and bred some life into it. So let's see where we go from here. But listen, that has been Ghostbusters 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to myself and John. And I know we do actually do what happens during the movie stream is we do actually talk about the movie, but at the same time we do talk about other stuff as well. It's kind of a general talk while we're watching movie. And movies like this do really remind you of things that that you watched when you were a kid. So myself and John in particular do like talking about all that stuff because it
Yeah.
was good. Their childhoods were pretty good when it came to entertainment. I have to say, we weren't let down. There was no 2016 DLC in the new 4K box set. LOL. I thought they were including it because he gave
It
out
was supposed to be like a kind of digital download, if I
yeah
could
a
remember.
digital download. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that didn't happen, then great. If it did, I don't know why. And listen, I have heard people give out about it. Can I just point out, right, that if you buy this box set, you're not supporting 2016 like some of the YouTubers out there are spinning, right? I'm not buying it because 2016 versions are cold, right? You don't have to download that movie. You're buying the box set because you love Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Afterlife. If you like the Afterlife, why should Afterlife be punished for for 2016 being included in the code? I don't get that, right? If you're a Ghostbusters fan and you loved Afterlife and you want the three movies as part of a box set, go out and buy the bloody thing. Stop moaning because there's a little code that'll give you access to a 2016 version that you're not even going to watch anyway. You're not even going to watch it anyway. So don't. That's just what I'm saying. If you support this movie, if you support Afterlife, right, and you think it was a good addition to the franchise, well then buy the bloody Blu-ray box set and stop being babies about it, right? Because the director cried like a baby and wanted his version. You don't have to download it. If you don't download it, it doesn't get used, does it? No.
No.
So you know what you do? When you can buy the box set, it's probably a piece of paper with a code on it to access Ghostbusters 2016. All you have to do with that piece of paper is rip it up and throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good idea.
That's it. Don't punish the trilogy because of a movie that you can't stand. I can't stand that movie. I think it's an absolute ridiculous movie. And I've watched that movie 3 times, by the way, to give it a proper go. Right? Watched it 3 times. It's an abomination. Right? Paul Feig, wherever his name is, Feig, whatever his name is, Feig, it's just a little crybaby, right? Because Afterlife was a success, right? He's bitter. That's all it is. But don't take it out on Afterlife. Don't take it out. If you enjoyed that movie and you think it's a worthy addition to the trilogy and you've always wanted Ghostbusters 1 and 2 part of a Blu-ray with this new movie, go and get it. Go and get it, man. There you go. So I did buy the new box set, but the code was only in the box set only. Fair enough. There you go. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right. We leave it there. Tomorrow is what, Friday. We'll see what we'll do. I might actually just take another night off because, as I said, it hasn't been really a great week. But if I do come back, we'll be continuing our RTD stream where I will be talking about Series 4 and the specials. So then after that, then when I'm finished giving my summary of my favourite episodes and, you know, giving me thoughts on them, what I might do then is I might bring 1 or 2 you guys on to give me your favourite stories. A lot of you obviously have been contributing in the chat, so I'll bring 1 or 2 on just to give me just a brief rundown of their favorite episodes of the RTD era and stuff like that. So if I do, that'll be tomorrow, and it'll be a late night one as well, as those streams tend to be now. They're doing well, actually, by the way. The late night streams, because the last Third of Zone Talks did very well. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. I talk for 3 hours, and I kind of talk and give my opinions and kind of try in a roundabout way to give you a story synopsis. But I don't even know why I'm doing that, but I just found it fun. It gave me something to talk about, but I really did enjoy the last stream. So if I'm back tomorrow, I'll be doing that. We will be back for the watch-alongs, don't worry, the weekend, hopefully. If I can get myself sorted sleep-wise, we'll be back. But look, as I said, you know, right now, I'm not making any promises. I'll just come on when I'm feeling 100%. And I'm still not feeling 100%, but I wanted to do Ghostbusters too. Because well, I mean, after I seen your message as well, I was like, yeah, I'll do it because I know John enjoys this movie as well. So it was something to do, and it's actually cheered me up. So it's great because I'm still feeling a bit shitty, like everybody.
I mean, it's actually a great movie. It's not perfect, but in any
No.
means, but it still is a good movie.
It's entertaining. Look,
Yeah,
the movie is supposed to escapism and entertain you, and it does that. So, it has its flaws. Not everything is perfect about it, but it's
Yeah.
still it's still fun. It's still fun. Right, John, do your
Right.
channel shout outs and we'll leave it there.
I've got a channel under John Caligari on YouTube, and I've got a Twitter account under Real Super Fugitive Doctor.
Fantastic, brilliant. And I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat: Chris, Dave, the legend of the traveling TARDIS, and let's see if I've missed anybody else. Just say good night to you all there. Unknown is also there as well. So thank you guys for dropping in, saying hello. And I hope you've enjoyed our little chat that we had as well. We do talk about different stuff while we're watching, and that's the whole point. You mean when you watch a movie as well, you do talk about other stuff as well, because
Yeah.
certain scenes will remind you of something of your childhood and bring back memories, and that's why we spoke about the things that we spoke about. Because yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Right, we'll leave it there. We'll talk to you very soon. Have a good one. Stay safe, and the weekend is coming up, so enjoy, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Good night, folks. Have a
Good
good one.
night.